That's us now, convener.
That's us now. Well, welcome to the Development Management Review Committee. Apologies and substitutions.
No apologies, convener.
Declarations of interest. My declaration still stands from the previous meeting and my interests have been submitted.
Convener, just given that this is a new meeting, could I ask you just to clarify that interest, please?
Yes, the applicant's wife was a previous, or possibly still, a member of Angus Council, as I was, and that's how I knew her.
And you will remain in the chair?
I'll remain in the chair, still in the meeting.
Thank you.
Minutes of the previous meeting, is that agreed?
Agreed.
Right. Land at West Lochside of Kinnordy, Kirriemuir. Again, members, this is an application for the review of the decision taken by the planning authority in respect of refusal of planning permissions in principle for the redevelopment of the former council roads yard for a single house with associated access on land at West Lochside, Kinnordy, Kirriemuir. The applicants, they are present, aren't they?
Yes, convener, we have both Mr. and Mrs. Wiley, the applicant, and we've got Mrs. Clark, the regent.
We had a site visit earlier today. Does MD require any further information? No. I have visited the site and have read the policies put forward by the officers. I find that the proposal is not contrary to policy DS1, given that the development out with the development boundary be supported if they are appropriate to the location and in accordance with the relevance policies of the ALDP. Article 2, it is not contrary to policy TC2, given that the proposal delivers significant visual and environmental improvement through removal of contamination and incompatible land use, rubble and fly tipping. 3, it is not contrary to policy TC2, as there would be no significant impact on amenity of other houses in the area. So I would allow this appeal. Councillor Moore?
Yes, convener.
I'm sorry, Councillor Miles, sorry, I said we'd get Bob in first before he gets cut off.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, convener. I hope everyone can hear me. No, I would support your recommendation. Also, having seen the site and knowing the site quite well, it is a well-defined site with a dike round the back of it. It is absolutely no use for agricultural land now, and it is an eyesore in the community. And to put a house there, to my mind, would significantly improve the whole aspect of that area. I think that maybe we need to look at our policies if some of the policies don't comply with a house in this area, because I would say it complies in all the ways you described. Also, there was a recommendation for retired farmers working there. I don't know the definition of retired farmer. All farmers I know never retire. They keep going till the D. But I would support your recommendation to allow this development to go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Duff?
Yeah, thanks, convener. Yes, I think you've, I would be hard put to disagree with anything you said, convener. I mean, I've looked at the TC2 and DS1, and TC2 says it should only be permitted where the development delivers improvement through the removal of derelict buildings, contamination, or an incompatible land use. And DS1 talks about supporting developments where we reuse or make better use of vacant, derelict, or undeveloped brownfield land. It's clearly brownfield land. It's an eyesore. If this isn't approved, it will come back in 20 years' time and it will still be there. So I can see no good reason for rejecting this application, and I would certainly support approval.
Thank you very much. Councillor King?
Yes, convener. I, like yourself, visited it this morning, and I just can't honestly see any reason why a house should not be permitted on this site. But I do have a number of concerns. One is that somewhere in the papers, I'm sure I read that it was for a 1.5-storey house. And certainly I wouldn't be looking for anything higher than a 1.5-storey house. The council has guidelines and policies on the the maximum height of a 1.5 story house. And as a condition, I'd like that to be applied to any conditions we bring forward. Secondly, I feel that the site needs screening. I feel that we need a very strong plan for planting round about the site in native trees and bushes, so that it's screened from I think it's the west and the north of the site. And I'd also like to see some sort of control on the boundary treatment to the Kinnordy side. I think that's the east. I'd like to see a condition there that a hedge would have to be provided, because looking around the area about other houses, it seems to be that hedging and planting round about the houses to screen them is almost de rigueur. I mean, I was looking at Ollie Muir as I went past, and it's well screened now with various trees, and I feel that this is an essential point here. But one other thing that concerns me is we're recommending that access be taken from the C road to the south. That's up a very steep bank, whereas access from the B road to the east is where the roads department took access, and they must have been running trucks and everything in and out of there for years. So I don't see what the problem is in just retaining the existing access. So, I mean, these are points that's come to me as I've gone across that site this morning, having a look at it, and I certainly don't see any good reason for asking the access to be off the C road rather than the B road, because actually you've got much better sight lines on the B road.
Thank you very much. Councillor Moore.
Thank you, convener. Well, I seem to be a lone voice. I take Councillor Miles' point that farmers don't retire; they just keep going until they're gone. Yet we're told that it would be for a retiring farmer who lives on the neighbouring farm, but they admit it's not an essential workers' house, which is one of the criteria that we look at. I personally think that the officer has got it correct. It's easy to say, well, it will be an improvement if we allow the house, but the owners of the land could clear the site and make it look better without having to put a house there. So I will actually support the officer recommendation.
Thank you very much. Do we have to go for a vote for this, sir?
Convener, perhaps maybe Mr. Christensen wants to come in.
Sorry, I didn't see him. Sorry, Mr. Christensen. I think he's on mute as well.
Thank you, convener. Sorry, I just wanted to go back to the points that Councillor King had made in relation to the height of the building that would be proposed. I think it's probably fair to say that that's not something that would be put down as a condition as such. Policy DS3 of the Angus Local Development Plan plus the associated supplementary guidance provides really the context for any future application to be assessed against in relation to that. And it's all about really an appropriate building being appropriate to its context in that regard. In relation to the roads, I don't know whether Mr. Barnes wanted to make any comment in relation to the access points that we have. Obviously, the application itself had indicated an access from the C23, the minor road, and I don't know whether Mr. Barnes wants to offer any comment on that.
Mr. Barnes, do you have any comment?
Yeah, thanks, convener. Yeah, we had specified a preference that the minor road be used as a point of access. We do recognise that the existing access is on the B951, and if members were so minded, we would not necessarily object to that being the point of access, but we would still prefer the access to come from the minor road, if that was the will of the committee.
So basically, if the site layout come back to planners and the access was on the B road, it wouldn't matter.
Providing they can provide the appropriate sight lines, yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, do you want, I'm in favour of this appeal. Councillor Duff?
Yes, I'm in favour as well. Thanks, convener.
Councillor Miles,
Yes, I would support that, and let us see about other conditions when the actual proposal comes forward. Again, I don't have a problem accessing either the B951 or the C road. It doesn't make a huge difference to me if it's compatible with the application, so I have no problem with that. But I wouldn't want to see restricting conditions put on it.
and Councillor King.
Yes, I agree with the conditional approval of this application.
Thank you very much. And Councillor Moore,
I'm opposed.
you're opposed to it. So obviously it's 4-1.
Yes, convener. Based on the numbers, I mean, if Councillor Moore would like to move an amendment to see if he would get a seconder, obviously we've just heard from members again, and that would be entirely up to himself to do that.
I doubt it is worth trying to move an amendment, seeing as I'm a lone voice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So this report number 117/21 as the appeal is upheld. So okay.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Just to confirm that as you've stated, planning permission in principle there has been granted, the appeals upheld with conditions to come back to a future meeting. But just obviously to confirm that the reasons for approval of the application is as per the 3 points you made in your opening statement.
Yes.
If members are agreeable, or if any member wishes to add anything to that, I would be grateful if they could let me know now.
Anybody have anything else to say?
Nope.
No.
No, I would agree with your 3 points.
Thank you very much. Well, that'll be the end of the meeting, and I hope we've got a happy couple with the prospects of a new house.
Okay.
Okay.
Cheers then.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Katrina.